We are all itching to travel, but current restrictions are keeping us close to home. Thankfully, home is a pretty cool place to be. The Great Trail of Canada has tons of wide open spaces to explore that allow for physical distancing while combating social isolation. Eleanor McMahon is the CEO of the Trans Canada Trail and is an active outdoor enthusiast who is joining me today to share details about the Great Trail's blaaahs to aahs winter campaign. And boy, oh boy, do we ever need a break. Welcome to the show, Eleanor.
Thank you so much, Candace. Thank you for thinking of us. I'm just thrilled to be with you today.
Well, there are not a lot of places we can escape to, which makes it all the more important to share the places we can escape to safely. So I had never heard, I'm going to be honest, I'm a travel writer. I had actually never heard of the Great Canadian Trail. So
Yeah.
first off, let's define what it is. Where does it start? Where does it end?
Oh my gosh. Great question and a great way to begin. I think part of the self deprecation that we have as Canadians, that tall poppy syndrome means that we don't brag too much, but we actually have right here in Canada the longest and most pervasive network of recreational trails in the world right here in Canada, and that's the Great Trail of Canada. So it goes from coast to coast to coast. In fact, late breaking, I just heard this morning about our newest extension that we hope to announce this spring, which is way, way up north in Nunavut. And for the last 5 years, a trails group there and a group of stakeholders approached us about creating a water route. It's over 300 kilometers in length. It can be done and can be paddled, and not everyone's going to want to do it, but that's the nature of Canada. The vastness of our country means that we have the longest recreational trail in the world, 27,000 kilometers. And there's 15,000 communities along the trail. And another statistic that your listeners and viewers might find interesting is that 80% of Canadians live within 30 minutes of the trail.
Yeah, I read
So,
that. I read that before I was going to speak to you, and I thought that is amazing. For starters, there's no you can't cry, well, I don't have access to it, because
yeah,
we all have access to it, and it's
yeah,
free.
it's free. You started off, and my goodness, we can't have a conversation right now without talking about the current circumstances we find ourselves in. And here at the Trans Canada Trail, we're privileged stewards of the trail, so we have this enormous asset. We get funding from Parks Canada and the federal government, as well as provincial and municipal governments, to complete the trail and continue building it. Because while we say that we achieved this marvelous and incredible dream of connection in 2017, and during the trail's 25th year and our country's sesquicentennial. Nonetheless, the work to continue the trail, to enhance, to build the trail, to work with community partners right across the country continues, because now more than ever, what we're seeing, is that Canadians are really finding refuge in the trail. It's a place that's outdoors during COVID. It's a place of safety. We all have masks. Even when I'm out on the trail, I have a mask in my pocket. If I can't be physically distant with someone, I've got it there. I carry hand sanitizer. We're all prepared now for those eventualities. And early on during the pandemic, as a trail sector leader in Canada, we produced national trail guidelines to really say to Canadians, please do get out. We know that you will, but when you do it, please be safe. And we put signage on the trail through our trail partners. And along that 27,000-kilometer route, you're going to find signage, wayfinding, how to park safely, how to use the trail safely, how to go to the trailhead, all of those things to keep us safe. And the other thing that we've done is we talk to our trail partners continually, of course, and we're out on the trail ourselves. But the other thing we did was a national survey. We did two of them last year. And the second one we did in November really asked Canadians, so tell us about your trail use since the pandemic. And they got back to us with some startling data. And we did this with Leger Marketing. So it was a national survey. And Leger does weekly surveys in the context of the pandemic. And here's what we found. Trail use is up right across the country amongst all age groups. So from 8 to 80, more Canadians are using trails than ever, up over 50% since the start of the pandemic. 95% of Canadians, 95% said we're out on the trail to enhance our physical well-being and to find ways to do that. So, Candace, with gyms closed, with, access to recreation limited, and with Canadians seeking safety and wanting to be outside and knowing that it's safer, we think that these are part of the reasons that people are finding ways to be outside and on the trail. And
Yeah,
then the
and we
other
can't
start.
deny the science on this. There's a clear link between time outside and better mental health.
Mhm.
So we can't deny the science. So that's a good thing to know. It's there for us to use. I'd like
Oh
to
my goodness.
hear a little bit, though. You mentioned there's a waterway. So what are the different ways we can use the trail?
Oh gosh. Well, hiking, biking, and swimming, canoes, kayaks. This is Canada after all. And of course, no swimming in the winter. Well, you may want to swim, but it would be awfully chilly. And in places like Lake Superior, the route is right now, it is a water route. That doesn't mean that there won't be a land route. And in fact, there are groups that are looking at a North Shore of Lake Superior route. The Waterfront Regeneration Trust here in Ontario, which is looking at a route around our Great Lakes, is working very hard now with local stakeholders and the Ministry of Transportation in Ontario to see if we can find a land route on the North Shore of Lake Superior. And of course, they are one of our partners at the Trans-Canada Trail. So getting people out on the trail is always a priority for us. And because this is Canada and it's winter, we are a winter nation. We have a fabulous record of success around the Olympics in the winter. And we know too that dressing warmly in the wintertime is really where it's at. And so in that same survey that I talked about a moment ago, same startling statistic, 95% of Canadians also said that their mental health was the reason that they were getting outside now. And 100% of young people between the ages of 18 and 24 said, I'm out on the trail to enhance my mental health. And so knowing those things and seeing them is one thing. And then getting those statistics back, really, that market research really confirmed for us what we're already seeing. And it led to some conversations with the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, excuse me, based in Toronto, a national organization that's a leader in this realm, research and treatment of those suffering from mental health issues. And they were immediately embracive of an idea of getting Canadians outside. And so they helped us to launch this campaign. We had a national conversation with Canadians. Over 1,000 Canadians attended our YouTube session and continued to flock to it in great numbers. And the interest is significant because people are getting outside, wanting to be outside. And I'm hearing from Canadians, even friends, saying, whereas I might have traveled, staying home has meant that I'm discovering parts of my community that I didn't realize existed. And isn't that fabulous? Because people are getting to know their neighbors, staying close to home, and traveling in that staycation mode. So it's really kind of interesting and very gratifying for us at the trail because we are that venue where Canadians are finding an escape.
We are so blessed in this country to have it. You didn't mention it, but I'm just going to assume that it's available because it's winter. Is there cross country skiing on the trails?
100%. In fact, I was out on the trail myself this weekend and I saw people on their cross country skis. I was on my snowshoes. Sometimes I'm just in my hiking boots, but we've got a lot of snow in Ottawa right now, so it's kind of fun to be out in the forest. And I have a dog. A lot of Canadians we've seen, lots of Canadians uh, go to select dogs and find dogs. And during the pandemic, it's been a bit of a process for them, and that's exciting. I mean, I've been a dog owner. I know you are too for many years, and my dog is really a good friend and great company, but he's also a great reason for me to get outside. He loves the outdoors just as much as I do, and we have a lot of fun together. He loves running through the forest, and I like discovering it too. Don't we all want to feel like kids again from time to time? And remember when we
Absolutely.
were kids? I mean, in my neighborhood, what I'm seeing that I haven't seen in years are forts, snow people, snow families. People are actually out here in the Rideau River. I was out for a walk with the dog last night, and I saw someone had actually taken the trouble to, I took a picture of it, an igloo. Someone has built an igloo in the middle of the Rideau River. And I thought, good grief. So that took a lot of time to do that. But people are just loving to be outside, skating. My goodness. And, joy where we can find it, right, Candace?
Absolutely. So if
Yeah.
people want to start planning, because this isn't just a one and done thing, if they want to start planning different trips, where can they go? Because I'm sure you offer different routes, maybe multi-day trips, that sort of thing. So where can they go to start planning this?
Well, the great place to start for them is the Great Trail, all one word.ca. And then for information about our winter mental health campaign, because not only is it a campaign, but there's prizes, and we would really love to see people's photographs. There's a photo contest. Cliff Bar is one of our great sponsors, Parks Canada, another. So they can find all that information and tips on our website as well. And that's thegreattrail.ca/winter mental health.
Okay.
So they can go there and see interviews and contest details and tips on using the trail in the winter and staying safe at all times, because we know for the foreseeable future, the focus has to be on our safety and our well-being.
Amazing, which includes getting outside. So
You
thank
bet.
you so much for joining me today. This was
You're
wonderful.
welcome.
I can't wait to get on the trail myself. We'll talk
Well,
soon.
stay safe and stay well.